YouTube, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Warhammer, and we're going to take a look at another 3v3 sent in by Tubbers. Many of you will like the last one. Again, some of these battles probably aren't going to be like tournament level 3v3s, but I just like to show you all this because I think it gets a good chance to show off some of the aesthetics of Total War Warhammer, which is one of my favorite things, just like watching the different units duke it out with each other and all the different cool models and monsters and explosions and all the other stuff you get. So we got two Empire players with the Dwarfs going up against Greenskins, and I can't see the last one, but we'll see it here. Let's watch the replay. Wow, it's 3 Greenskin players. This ought to be interesting. That's a heck of a lot of orc biggins. A lot of boys, and it looks like this is a larger funds battle. 2 Arachnaroks, 2 Doom Divers, looks like a couple of giants. Let's see what all we get on the battlefield here. This ought to be pretty interesting. So here we go. Huge battle that's going to be underway. Let's take a look at the Greenskin side of things. I'm seeing a nice line of black orcs over here. So probably 5 or 6 black orcs there. There's some of the giants. There's some Doom Divers. Let's see how many Doom Divers there are. I would think that it would have been smart to bring a fairly considerable number of Doom Divers, but at the same time, I guess they have to defend them against Empire cavalry. There's a ton of black orcs on the field. I see 6 of them here. I don't see in the center, which is where the Arachnaroks were picked, and then I see more black orcs. I would have rather seen the black orcs placed in the center of the army and the big ones towards the flanks where you're more likely to see all the cavalry action, but let's see how that turns out. For the Empire, we have one line of halberdiers. The Dwarfs are holding up this flank with some iron breakers. If they're supported by a runesmith, then they will be pretty potent. I just see a Thane and Ungrim Iron Fist for now, though. Not bringing a runesmith with the dwarves, in my opinion, is somewhat questionable. We've got a Feral Manticore up. We got an Amber Wizard. I see at least 2 Amber Wizards over there. And I see a Feral Manticore and an Amber Wizard here. So quite a lot of flying units from the Empire. As one would expect, that's definitely one of their strengths right now. The Quarrelers were deployed way out to the flanks. I'm not really sure why. They do have a Demigryph Knight to help support them. I see 2 Steam Tanks. I like to pick a Steam Tanks against the Greenskins. I also like that we have a cannon here to help. And the cannon, yeah, it's targeting the giants. This is a great choice. They should also be targeting the Arachnarok because it's a little bit closer. So if they target the Arachnarok and keep it back, that's going to be super helpful. And Outriders, probably an odd pick. But more Demigryph Knights. And then let's take a look. I don't see, yeah, a second line of Great Swords here for the Empire. So we have 1 Empire player, looks like with Great Swords, and 1 with Halberds. Or is there a whole nother... Seems like we're short an Empire player or something. No, the other Empire player is up here. Okay, yeah, my bad. I see it. Alright, so a huge number of Greenskins approaching the Dwarf lines. Iron Breakers are firing. We have Miners with blasting charges. Grimgore Ironhide here. Just getting caught up in an absolute hail of fire. We got a Feral Manticore working its way in. Outriders firing from the flank. Demigryphs poised to charge. So the Greenskin player attacking here on this flank is going to be coming into a wall of Dwarfs and Halberdiers. And they do have their second line as the Black Orcs, but they're going to have to watch out because here comes the Empire Cavalry. The Feral Manticore pins down some of these Savage Orc Biggins, and they're going to get destroyed by the Demigryph Knights. So, going to be a quick end to the Savage Orc Biggins, I think. No, they actually hold out quite well. The Savage Orc Biggins are going to turn around and cause a lot of damage there. This flank is a little bit exposed, so the Empire is going to fall back and use the hill. This little rock formation can help protect them. The Steam Tanks are there to support too, so that ought to be a good position, but a massive engagement up the center. Halberdiers holding back the front line, and then Great Swords being sent in as a reinforcement. I like this because the Halberdiers have a bonus versus large. You can see they're effectively stopping the charge of all the Greenskin units. And this is so many units and so much stuff going on that even my computer's down to 30 frames a second here. And it started off at like 100-something frames a second. So here's a giant and an Arachnarok trying to push through the lines. So huge, massive battle going on right now. Got some Demigryph Knights swinging out to the flank. I like this, but we also have some Boar Boys out here, and there's a huge line of Black Orcs that are going to come up as a reserve. Questions whether or not they'll get there in time. The Dwarfs are actually winning the melee engagement here. The Arachnarok is routing. That's one of the ways you can get rid of them if you can break their leadership. Got another Feral Manticore headed in. There's another Feral Manticore down here in battle, and the Greenskins on this right-hand flank got overwhelmed by like an iron wall of Dwarfs. Being supported by some Great Swords here is actually pretty dangerous. And then the flying units coming in were just able to overrun the Greenskins. These Savage Biggins, though, very impressed by the performance here, taking a charge from 2 Demigryph Knights. They didn't do a ton of damage, but they survived it. The Black Orcs are getting hit. And yeah, these Black Orcs back here were brought in way too late. They should have been here in the initial fight because they do so much better against infantry. But I like the combination of anti-armor from the halberdiers with the anti-armor from the greatswords. So you have stopping power for large units and then more offensive power from the halberds. Now, a lot of these greenskin units are going to be coming back from routing. Also really disappointed that we didn't see more use of the Doom Divers from long range. I really feel like the Doom Divers could have caused substantial damage to the Empire and Dwarf forces. I feel like that the skirmishing advantage in terms of artillery would have definitely been in favor of the Greenskins, and they could have gotten a more favorable engagement. The spiders have caused some damage, and you got an Orc war boss in here going after Boris Todbringer. It's pretty cool to see Todbringer in these battles. I just unlocked him too. I'll have to use him some. The tanks are kind of holding back, but you can see the Greenskins just kind of throwing themselves in waves up here onto the lines of the Empire troops. And tons of Greenskin troops, but it's their leadership that's kind of failing. We're getting some magic buffs here to a lot of the Empire troops. Giant looks like it's routing, maybe. Yeah, the Giant's dead. So one of the Giants is down, and then the flying monsters are going to be a huge problem. And then combine that with the Demigryph Knights, this whole flank is going to start rolling up really quick, and there was a ton of Black Orcs here. So this is a just absolute massive mess of a battle. The enemy Lord died down here, so one of the Grimgor Ironhide, I think, went down. A lot of Orcs wavering and routing through here. There's another Giant up over here. It looks like it's fighting these flying monsters, but getting hit by cannon fire. And it looks like it's about to go down too. Yep, so another Giant down. Or no, he got back up, but now he's down again. So yeah, the cannon fire, so steam tanks and great cannons are very good against Arachnaroks and Giants, so you have to be aware of that. Doom Divers, like I said, would have been needed to be used here quite well. Look at the steam gun. Got the tank back here kicking back the Savage Orc Biggins. So tons and tons of infantry from the Orcs. They just weren't able to hold their attack together for long enough. They needed more outflanking, but with the flying monsters and the Demigryphs, it's going to be very hard. Just look at the huge battlefield of fleeing Orcs here that are being chased by some of the routing units. More and more Orcs trying to come back into battle. This is pretty typical for the Orcs. They'll break and keep coming back. Look at the stream of rock lobbers and Doom Divers flying in here. I almost wonder if this blob right here would be a just beautiful target for the Doom Divers. It looks like they're overshooting it and going for a different target. But right here with all these Demigryph Knights and Great Swords, the Doom Divers could wreck a ton of kills up into this vicinity. So let's see if they get in here and do it. They're definitely getting a few hits now back here. 48 kills on that Doom Diver, 54. But yeah, the Doom Divers are going to start getting hit by the Feral Manticores, the cavalry, which definitely has the run of the field. So plenty of Orcs coming back from routing, but I don't think they're going to have what it takes. This steam tank, though, is getting a little bit distressed in the fight against the war boss who can heal himself. But the steam tank causes terror. The Demigryph Knights get a nice flank charge here. This is the halberd version. So they're not ideal versus infantry, but they're still quite good, and they have armor piercing. Not to mention you got this Amber Wizard coming down in here to help take out the Orc war boss. Amber Wizard obviously chucking Orcs around pretty bad here, so you're going to see the Greenskins start to flee in this vicinity. The war boss, though, holding out very strong. At this point, though, the damage taken by the Orcs is probably insurmountable. They did cause a lot of damage to the Dwarf and Empire Alliance. You can see there's not a ton of troops necessarily left, but I mean, this actually isn't quite over yet. If the Orcs will regroup back here to their artillery and use it to their advantage, I think it would help a lot. But if they let this artillery, yep, never mind. Doom Divers are back here getting hit by the, looks like Karl Franz, or no, it's a general of the Empire. Yeah, and the cannons are firing back here too. Here comes the Demigryph Knights. So yeah, I think this was probably one of the last hopes that the Greenskins had, and it is definitely gone. Goblin Rocklobber actually got a decent number of kills here. It's getting hit by the Feral Manticore, and now you're just going to see a chain rout because of the balance bar. Without the balance bar in their favor, the Orcs are gonna flee the battlefield. Nothing left to keep their morale high enough. That was actually a brutal battle. It was huge. So what were the mistakes here by the Greenskins? If you just look at the army picks that were made, there was a ton of black orcs, a lot of black orcs. I think in these huge funds, these orc boys were just a completely pointless pick. I would just get rid of those guys. The big uns are a good pick, but they need to be on the flank. You have all the spiders, trolls, and other stuff. The trolls, to me, are just going to, again, be a pick in a large battle like this that probably won't be worth it unless you can sneak them through a gap in the line or a flank and try and get them behind enemy lines. Their leadership is too easy to break. Again, though, big uns are great on the flank at holding back enemy cavalry, or even savage orc big uns on the flank, taking enemy cavalry out. So I like that pick. And then you use your black orcs to crunch through the middle. So I think what you would want to do is use a Lore of the Little Wa. Get you a couple of Doom Divers. Use those to pound away from long range. Hopefully, if you have that advantage, just keep pounding away from long range and force the enemy to come to you. If you cannot win that ranged advantage, then you go forward with your black orcs, maybe a little bit of meat shield in front of them to soak up stuff from, like, say, iron breakers and all that other stuff. You come in with your black orcs, you use the little Wa to support them, you use sneaky stabbing, you use Here We Go, or you can also use Wa with your leader. You boost up their attack and you just start beasting your way through enemy infantry and support them with the little wall. You could have also, in a big grouped up fight like this, the Curse of the Bad Moon would have been insanely powerful. You could have dropped it on the Empire and Dwarf lines, affecting most of their army right when your Black Orcs are piling in with the Wa or something, and they would have cleaned up a ton of kills. That would have been a cool way to take a strategy at it. But if you're just going head-to-head like that, once a bunch of the Greenskins start routing, it's going to start flipping the balance bar, and when these other Black Orcs came in late, it was too late. They just weren't there. They weren't able to get enough work done. The Giants and Arachnaroks are a cool pick, but they're going to have to be protected. They can't be allowed to take that artillery fire, and they kind of, again, almost need to come in from the flank or after the initial charges in order to help you do the damage. But appreciate Tubber sending in. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching this. Hope you all enjoyed seeing some of these team battles, too, since I haven't showed as many of them. There's one steam tank, and then Tubbers had the other. Super Squirrel here got some work done with these iron breakers, 6 units of iron breakers. So yeah, got some good work done with the Thanes as well. Cannon picked up 67 kills and a chevron. Nothing wrong with that. So let's see. Lord of the Ping. I like the name there from the Greenskin player. You can see the the Doom Divers were going to get some kills. I just think they had the wrong targets during part of the battle. This Rock Lobber right here absolutely cleaned house. Not sure how it pulled that off, but it's pretty impressive. Let's look at the last one here. This is where a lot of the Savage Orcs were. Again, in this high funds game, bringing Goblins and Savage Orcs is just not going to work out for you because they're too weak to really get a whole lot done in that fight. Now, the Orc Shaman here with Foot of Gork may not have been a bad idea, too, to stomp out enemy cavalry. Anyway, enjoyed the battle. Thanks for the players who played. Hope you all enjoyed it. Leave your comments on what you think. If you're enjoying this kind of thing, please feel free to subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And then let me know in the comments what you want to see. Appreciate MSI for having sponsored the build that's helping me record this. And like I said, just very kind of them to jump in, give me this awesome motherboard that all my stuff is based in, and help me get the computer built up the way it is so we can play huge battles like that. HeirofCarthage, signing out.